So, I don't know how many of y'all have worked service industry jobs, but if you haven't, I can't really say that you've really worked a job before.
What do you say fuck me for?
And I don't mean that literally, but like, service industry jobs are just a pain. Whether you work at Chipotle and you got cameras in your face while you're making someone's bowl, or you're at the drive-thru and someone's climbing through the window because you didn't have a nugget, they were missing a nugget in their 10-piece.
New details on the woman who allegedly punched out the drive-thru window at McDonald's because she didn't get what she wanted.
Service industry jobs are just one of the hardest jobs to work as far as 9-to-5s, because the customers you deal with are just awful. They're awful sometimes. Not all of them. I want to clarify, not all of them are awful. The service industry job I want to focus on right now is serving, waiting tables. Basically, someone sits at your table in the restaurant, you greet them, you get their drinks. If they want bar drinks, you got a bartender that makes those, but you got to put in the order for that. So if they want a rum and coke, you make sure you put that in for them. You go grab it, you bring that to the table. Same thing with the food. If they want a shrimp po' boy with some fries, but they don't want any tomato on that, make sure you ring it in correctly. You're responsible for making sure their food comes out the way it's supposed to, and that they get everything they need as far as drinks, food, etc., napkins, to-go boxes. You're there for their convenience. They ask you for something, you're responsible for getting it. There are certain things you can't control. Let's say somebody wants a steak mid-rare and it comes out medium well. That's not your fault, but ultimately, you're the one they see. They don't see the person in the back that's making that steak. They see you. You're the one there at the table in their face. So it may not be your fault. And some people understand that, but some people don't. They'll take that shit out on you. That's just a part of the job, I guess,
I take that on the chin any day.
There's just things within the restaurant business that people don't understand, such as not every restaurant has gratuity. Gratuity is pretty much just a set amount that is paid to the servers for taking care of their table to guarantee that they make money. So if your check is $100 and your restaurant does guaranteed 20% gratuity, 20% of 100 would be $20. That would be your gratuity. Not every restaurant does that. For example, my restaurant, we don't have gratuity. We're a family-owned business. They don't believe in gratuity.
I beg your pardon?
So, yeah, I get paid hourly, but the way the hourly pay works is that I get $2.50 an hour, and if there's 40 hours in a work week and I make $2.50 an hour, that's like around 80, 85 bucks, whatever, 80 to 90 bucks. I don't feel like doing the math. My head hurts. The only way I would see that money on the paycheck is if I don't make that money within one of those days I work. So if I work 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, $2.50 an hour, if I don't make $80 to $90 in those 5 days, then I would get paid that money, but ultimately I wouldn't get paid the whole of it, because there's no way in hell you serve 5 days a week and all those days you don't accumulate like some money. Realistically, you could come in every single day and not make money, then you would get paid that paycheck. But if you even make $100 one of those days, then you're not going to get paid because you already made what you were supposed to make for the week. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense to y'all.
No.
Also, I feel like people don't know courtesy as far as tipping, because it ties into the whole people not knowing that you don't get paid hourly. The money I make comes from the people I serve. If they don't give me any money, I'm not making any money. That's how it works. If a table runs up a check of $200 and leaves me $5, that ultimately hurts me, because as a server, you also have to tip out people. Bussers, they clean our tables, which means we have to tip them because ultimately they're helping us get more tables because they clean our tables. And food runners, if you have someone running your food, you have to pay them because they bring the food out to your table so that you can get the table up faster, so that you can get more tables. They make sure the food comes out correctly the way that you put in the order. So you have to pay them for that. Along with bartenders, you have to tip them out because they're making the drinks for you. So ultimately they're helping you. So people don't realize that giving you 5 on 200, that's damn near not even enough to cover the tip out.
Spare change, ma'am.
Squidward? Squidward, is that you?
At the end of the day, it's the job I chose. I can't say too much about it because I chose to be a server. Compared to restaurants that do gratuity, I don't make as much as them sometimes. Sometimes I make more because if there's no gratuity, some people are tipping more because, I don't know, it's just some unspoken thing where people feel as though like offended if there's gratuity on the check, like, oh, you don't expect me to tip?
Nope.
But that's not the way it is. It's just, you know, you're not gonna go work a job knowing that there's a chance you might not get paid. It's like betting. Damn, am I gonna put in this $5? Yeah, I might get 100 back, but if this bet doesn't hit, that's pretty much how it is serving. Like every time I go into the restaurant, I mean, granted, realistically, I know I'm gonna make money, but ultimately I'm gambling because if every single table I get doesn't leave me a tip, the restaurant's not gonna pay me for that. Yeah, I mean, we're not cooking the food, we're not making the drinks, but I have to make sure everything that the table needs is there. If they need extra sauce, they need a refill on their drink, their food came out wrong, I have to make sure all of that is taken care of. I can't fuck up their order. And sometimes, even if I do put it in correctly, if the kitchen messes up, that still might reflect on me, even though it's not my fault. Same thing with if they don't like the drink that the bartender made for them, it's not strong enough. It doesn't taste like there's any alcohol in this, or it's too strong. That all comes back onto the server because you're the one who's at the table. You're the one that they can look at and see. The bartender's not the one at the table. The cook's not the one at the table. It's you. Pretty much, I'm just there to make sure that your experience goes as well as possible. If the table has a bad experience, whether it be food or service, you know, because I'm not gonna sit here and act like every server is a good server. Not every server is a good server. Sometimes servers don't deserve to be tipped because their service might just be terrible. They might just suck.
Bro, what the fuck? What the fuck am I catching this straight for?
It is what it is. They might just be a horrible server, bad attitude. Your food came out wrong, your appetizers came out after your entrees. Sometimes that stuff isn't their fault, but sometimes it is their fault. If you don't want to tip them for that, then that's your prerogative, and I don't blame you for that because I've gone to restaurants myself as a server, and I've experienced bad service, and it's like, damn, this guy sucks at his job.
Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that?
But even then, you know, I guess I'm biased because I'm a server. I still leave something because I know that's their livelihood. That's how they pay their bills. And you know, I'm not saying like, it's not no manual labor or anything. I mean, I'm not doing data analysis or anything like that. I'm not an engineer at NASA. I don't want people to downplay, you know, the bullshit that you deal with as a server. I'll be walking through the restaurant and it's like your table expects you to drop everything at that moment, even though you might be busy with 4 or 5 other tables. You kind of just got to choose your battles. So you got to pick the lesser of the two evils. It's hard, but ultimately, no offense, if you don't have money to tip your server, you probably shouldn't be going out to eat in the first place. You should probably settle for some McDonald's, Burger King. Like, why are you you could be saving that money. I mean, I understand people want to go out and enjoy themselves, but if you don't have the bread to tip your server, that's a part of going out. Like, then you probably just shouldn't be out. Don't come crazy at me for that.
Get this nigga off my shit, right?
I just think people should think about these things before they go out to eat with their families, and you wouldn't want to go work your job that you work, your 9 to 5 that pays hourly, and then have your boss be like, yeah, actually, I'm not gonna pay you today. Like, thank you for all the work you did today, but I don't really got it, so yeah, I'm not gonna pay you. Probably be throwing haymakers at your boss, be ready to crash out. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, you know, just leave them a tip.
That's the shit that my dad never taught me. I do better now to call him up and show him I've been ballin'. I'm up in Germany, so by the time I get back, you be walking. When you old enough to use the phone, I let you know that all you gotta do is call me. It ain't much to get a time to the ones that you love. I ain't missing shit.